Hello, hello! My name is Callista and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. In the last episode, we started making our way towards Lothering. However, before we could, we found this little guy picking a fight with some Darkspawn. We thoroughly trounced the Darkspawn, as you can see, and Thorin, the good boy, the goodest of boys, has joined our party. Now, we are free to continue on to Lothering, however, I have a couple of codex entries I need to read first. Ooh, I have a few. Okay. Queen Anora. We have been given the gift of freedom by our forebearers. Let us not squander it. Let me start my timer. There we go. The only child of the war hero Logain MacTair, Anora has never been one to stay quietly in the background. It is common knowledge that in the 5 years Anora and Qwinn held the throne together, she was the one wielding the power. She is held in much higher esteem than her husband by the people of Ferelden, nobility and commoners alike, and commands the respect even of foreign nations, having once inspired Empress Selene of Orlais to declare, Anora of Ferelden is a solitary rose among brambles. Oof. High praise indeed from the Empress of Orlais. King Cailan Thorin. I know we've read this bit before, but I'm going to read it again. I'd hoped for a war like in the tales, a king riding with the fabled Grey Wardens against a tainted god. Son of the legendary King Maric Thorin, Cailan was the first Ferelden king born into a land free from foreign rule in 2 generations. Since his father's death, he held the throne alongside his queen, Anora. He fell in battle alongside Duncan at Ostagar. Sir Carthrian, that was the lady that Logain said to sound the retreat. She was, what about the king, shouldn't we? And he grabbed her arm and said, do as I command. That lady. Some of us know what honour and loyalty are. Carthrian came into Logain's service the hard way. She belonged to a poor family and was out doing work on the farm when she saw a man on horseback being attacked by several bandits. She rushed to his assistance and found out belatedly that the man she saved was none other than the great hero Logain. Though she was hardly more than a child, he took her in, offering her a position with his soldiers, and she climbed through the ranks through sheer determination. Becoming the commander of Maric's shield, Logain's elite soldiers, was the proudest moment of her life. Thorin. The Mabari is clever enough to speak and wise enough to know not to. Ferelden proverb. Artin found this Mabari in the camp at Ostagar. His master was killed in the wilds and Thorin fell ill from biting the Darkspawn in battle. Thorin seems to have chosen Artin now as his new master, seeking Artin out after the battle at Ostagar and warning of an impeding Darkspawn attack. Duncan. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings, the Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness and prevailed. Like many others, Duncan gave up his family name when he joined the ranks of the Wardens, a symbolic gesture of cutting ties. He might say this was a convenience in his case, however. His mother was from the Anderfels, his father from Tevinter. His childhood was spent in the Free Marches and Orlais. His people were everywhere, and his homeland was nowhere. He was given the almost impossible task of leading the Wardens in Ferelden, a kingdom that had thrown the Order out 200 years earlier. Facing local suspicion and hostility, he set about finding recruits. He was killed in the battle against overwhelming numbers of Darkspawn at Ostagar, alongside King Cailan. Al-Eamon Gowrin, I don't know how... That is such an awkward last name for me to pronounce. Nobility does not exist without obligation. We owe all we have, even our lives, to our land and our people. As the maternal uncle of King Cailan, Al-Eamon is one of the king's most trusted advisors. Redcliffe, while not a large or especially wealthy part of Ferelden, is a critical strategic location. The fortress guards the western pass that leads to Orlais, as well as the major trade route with Orzammar. A well-respected man, though not the most charismatic, King Cailan once said of him, "My uncle Eamon is a man everyone thinks well of, when they remember to think of him at all." Oof. Flemeth. You are required to do nothing, least of all believe. Ages ago, legend says Ban Conobar took to wife a beautiful young woman who harboured a secret talent for magic, Flemeth of Highever, and for a time they lived happily, until the arrival of a young poet, Osen, who captured the lady's heart with his verse. They turned to the Chastened tribes for help, and hid from Conobar's wrath in the wilds, until word came to them that Conobar lay dying. His last wish was to see Flemeth's face one final time. The lovers returned, but it was a trap. Conobar killed Osen and imprisoned Flemeth in the highest tower of the castle. In grief and rage, Flemeth worked a spell to summon a spirit into this world to wreak vengeance upon her husband. Vengeance she received, but not as she planned. The spirit took possession of her, turning Flemeth into an abomination. A twisted, maddened creature, she slaughtered Conobar and all his men and fled back into the wilds. For 100 years, Flemeth plotted, stealing men from the Chastened to sire monstrous daughters, horrific things that could kill a man with fear. These Kakari witches led an army of Chastened from the wilds to strike at the Alamari tribes. They were defeated by the hero Cormac, and all the witches burned, so they say. But even now the wilders whisper that Flemeth lives on in the marsh, and she and her daughters steal those men who come too near. Morrigan's mother saved the last Grey Wardens from death at the top of the Tower of Ishal, but just who or what Flemeth truly is a mystery. Logan MacTeer, understand this, I will brook no threat to this nation from you or anyone. Logain was born a farmer during a time when his country was still under foreign occupation. When he was still a boy, he joined the Resistance, where his considerable tactical genius quickly became apparent. He became close friends with Prince Maric, the last true heir to the Ferelden throne, and together they led the rebels to drive out the forces of the Orlesian Empire. Maric raised his friend to nobility, and Logain is now more a symbol than a man. He represents the Ferelden ideals of hard work and independence. During the battle at Ostagar, he fled the field, leaving King Cailan and the Grey Wardens to die. He then returned to Denerim and declared himself the regent to his daughter, Queen Anora, demanding that Ferelden follow him against the Darkspawn, upsetting a great many of the bands. Morrigan. Witch of the Wilds, such idle fancies those legends. Have you no minds of your own? Of herself, Morrigan says little. She does not deny being a Witch of the Wilds, but beyond that, everything about her is in question. Her mother... excuse me. It's really hot today. We're having a bit of a heat wave here, so forgive me if I'm stumbling a lot. Her mother claims to be Flemeth. If that's true, the Morrigan... That's not technically but incorrect. The Morrigan is a member of a Irish folklore. So you could say the Morrigan, but it's a little odd to say in regards to a specific character. Her mother claims to be Flemeth. If that's true, the Morrigan might well be a very powerful witch, for the tales of the daughters of Flemeth tell of twisted, monstrous women who can kill a man with fear. She was made to accompany the surviving Grey Wardens, the payment, Flemeth said, for saving their lives at the Tower of Ishal. Ban Tegan Qwinn. The Banon will not bow to you simply because you demand it. Younger brother to Arl Eamon of Redcliffe and uncle to King Cailan, Tegan holds the Banon of Raynasphere, a tiny province of Redcliffe squeezed between the Frostback Mountains and Lake Calenhad. Ban Tegan avoids the Denerim court, except to go hunting with his nephew, and rarely makes himself heard at the Landsmeet, preferring to leave politics to his brother. Okay, we have some controls. There we go. Oh, no, apparently. World map. Okay. There we go. Oh, elf fruit. Thank you. Let's head to Lothering. I hope it's not that much farther. There we go. You doing all right, computer? There you go.
Wake up, gentlemen. More travelers to attend to. Led by a dwarf, oddly enough.
They don't look much like them others, you know. Maybe we should just let these ones pass.
Nonsense. Greetings, travelers.
Highwaymen, preying on those fleeing the Darkspawn, I suppose.
They are fools to get in our way. I say, teach them a lesson.
Now, is that any way to greet someone? A simple 10 silvers and you're free to move on.
You should listen to your friend. We're not refugees. You're toll collectors then? I don't have that kind of coin. Very well, here's 10 silvers. You should listen to your friend. We're not refugees.
What did I tell you? No wagons, and this one looks armed.
The toll applies to everyone, Heinrich. That's why it's a toll, and not, say, a refugee tax.
Oh, right. Even if you're no refugee, you still gotta pay.
Forget it, I'm not paying. You're toll collectors and I don't have that kind of coin. Very well, here's 10 silvers. Forget it, I'm not paying.
Well, I can't say I'm pleased to hear that. We have rules, you know.
Right. We get to ransack your corpse then. Those are the rules.
You can certainly try. Do you really want to fight a Grey Warden? Fine, here's 10 silvers, just let me buy. I reckon we can take these guys. Yeah, I reckon we can take these guys. While I don't think Artin's, like, above using intimidation, if she can't persuade someone and she really needs to get them to do something, she will intimidate. But I don't think she, like, as Alistair said, these are highwaymen. They're, you know, like, if she can kill a few of them off, then, you know, she's doing a good thing, I think. You can certainly try.
Well, this is going nowhere. Let's finish this, gents.
Yeah!
Okay. Everyone on this guy. Henrik, I think his name was. Now, everyone on this one.
You shall not touch me.
This one. Who's that guy attacking? Oh, are you going after Morrigan? Nope, you're going after Alistair. That's fine. Master Buddy, take one of these. There we go. And now, that's right. I'm leaving this guy alone, and I'm just going to go after his friends. And now it's just you, buddy. Oh, excuse me. Please don't go after Morrigan.
All right.
There we go.
Surrender. We're just trying to get by before the Darkspawn get us all.
You picked the wrong target. Get by, you're a criminal. This shoddy operation is pathetic. I could do better. You picked the wrong target.
Yes, of course. We should have been more careful. I'm sorry.
Now you die, that's all you deserve. I want some questions answered. I'm turning you into the authorities. You'll follow my lead. I could use some soldiers, hand over everything you've stolen, then start running and don't come back. I want some questions answered.
Well, what could I tell you? We aren't even from these parts.
What exactly have you been doing? What's going on in Lothering? Have you heard about any survivors from the battle? What news have you heard? Fine, forget it. What exactly have you been doing?
Well, watching for folks fleeing from the south. Chasing from the wilds and farmholders, mostly. There aren't soldiers here anymore, so we help ourselves. We try not to hurt anyone too much.
Bullshit. What's going on in Lothering?
It's packed full. The band took his men north with Tear and Loghain, so there's no one looking out for it except a few Templars at the Chantry. Well, I was just trying to feed my family, you know?
Again, I think that's bullshit. Have you heard about any survivors from the battle?
Couple, maybe. A group of wounded ash warriors came by earlier.
Nice.
Got right out of their way.
Glad to hear that they survived. What news have you heard?
Everyone's saying how the Grey Wardens betrayed the king during the Darkspawn fight. Got him and themselves killed. Tern Loghain pulled out just in time. First thing he's doing as regent is putting a bounty on Grey Wardens.
Again, that was the other reason why I didn't want to go with the Intimidate, was... Especially considering, if you remember, Baelin's betrayal of Artin. After convincing everyone that she had killed her brother, his then next step was like a smear campaign to get her exiled. And I think she thought, if I had just betrayed my king, and I had a group of people that I wanted to pin the blame on, what would I do? What if some of them got away? I'd put a bounty out on their heads. And I don't think she particularly wants to go about spouting that she's a Grey Warden. I'm done asking questions.
Well then, let me go!
Let's see. Hand over everything you've stolen.
Yes, of course. The coins we collected are right here. Just over 100 silvers. The rest is in the chests we brought. I swear.
You better be telling the truth. You'll follow my lead. I could use some soldiers.
What, are you joking, right? I could never be a soldier.
Or you can die. Your choice. I'm turning you into the authorities. Then start running and don't come back. She can't force this man to serve her. She knows that. And I don't think she'd just kill him. Then start running. And don't come back.
Bless you. The Darkspawn can have this place.
There we go. Goodbye. Now I get to see what his friends had. And ooh, a dead Templar. Knight's Locket. This golden locket bears within it a tiny painting of a pretty brown-haired young woman. Oh, it is impossible to tell who the woman might be, but whoever owned the locket was quite fond of her. Knight's Note. This crumpled note is written by Sir Henrik, a knight of Redcliffe. There we go. A note from Sir Henrik. So many of my fellow knights have been searching for the urn. Surely one of them must have found Brother Genitivi by now. Still, until I hear that all is well, I must proceed as planned. Brother Genitivi holds the key to finding the urn of sacred ashes. We already knew this, but I believe I now know where Brother Genitivi lies. I have been to his home in Denerim and found the trail, and I am amazed that other knights have not done likewise. Unless they have. And no, it is best not to get caught up in thoughts of conspiracy. Sir Donal awaits my report in Lothering. I must go to him immediately and report what I have learned. Should anyone find these ramblings, all I ask is that he be informed of my fate. I pray that he completes what I cannot. A note from Sir Henrik of Redcliffe. Okay, and Lothering. In ancient times, Lothering was little more than a trading post that served the fortress of Ostergar to the south. Nowadays it is larger, serving Redcliffe and the community of merchants and surface dwarves near Orzammar. Its location on the North Road gives it strategic value, so control of Lothering has historically been a matter of contention between the southern Bannorn and the Southreach Arling. King Callan had himself stepped in and awarded the town to Southreach in the Exalted Age, which has largely ended the feud, or at least the appearance of it, from In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genitivi. Okay, I wonder why this guy was seeking the brother out. I can't actually imagine that Artin knows what the Urn of Sacred Ashes is. She might have some vague knowledge. I did mention before that she has, at the very least, kind of studied up a little bit. Ooh, okay. She studied up a little bit of Chantry history. Morrigan, I never equipped you, did I? Aha. I could have sworn I had some boots. There we go. And some leather gloves. Now then, let's see. Sash of Forbidden Secrets is perfect. I like to go into entropy with Morrigan, so this actually won't be all that useful. 1 willpower, that will though. For now, I think I'll leave that.
Yes.
We need to find a merchant quickly. And here we are.
Well, there it is. Lothering. Pretty as a painting.
Ah, so you have finally decided to rejoin us, have you? Falling on your blade in grief seemed like too much trouble, I take it.
Is my being upset so hard to understand? Have you never lost someone important to you? Just what would you do if your mother died?
Before or after I stopped laughing.
Right, very creepy. Forget I asked.
Just get to the point. What did you want to talk about, Alistair? You have been very quiet, Alistair. Leave him alone, Morrigan. I don't think kind of making him talk about his feelings in front of Morrigan would be all that, wouldn't be very pleasant. I think Morrigan would just mock him, so... What did you want to talk about, Alistair?
His navel, I suspect. He certainly has been contemplating it for long enough.
Oh, I get it. This is the part where we're shocked to discover how you've never had a friend your entire life.
I can be friendly when I desire to. Alas, desiring to be more intelligent does not make it so.
Damn.
Anyway, I thought we should talk about where we intend to go first.
I'll figure it out. Let's just get going. We should try and use these treaties, I assume. We need to hear some news before we can decide. You have some thoughts on that point, Alistair? Yeah, I think... So we've already discovered that there is a bounty out on any Grey Wardens. But if he's trying to do other things, we should try and find out as much as we can. We need to hear some news before we can decide.
But we need to decide what our general plan is for afterwards, don't we? I think what Flemeth suggested is the best idea. These treaties, have you looked at them?
I think she would have. Yes, I have.
There are 3 main groups that we have treaties for. The Dalish Elves, the Dwarves of Orzammar, and the Circle of Magi. I also still think that Arleman is our best bet for help. We might even want to go to him first.
I'll figure it out as we go, then we need to find these people. Is there a way to contact the Grey Wardens? Why are you leaving up to me? What do you think we should do, Morrigan? I'm not sure any of this is a good idea. Is there a way to contact the Grey Wardens?
Short of leaving Ferelden to seek them out, the only place to send word to would be Weishaupt Fortress. And that's thousands of miles away.
Fair. She's not going to ask why he's leaving it up to her. She's very happy that he's so willing to let her lead. As I mentioned, she's had, like, proper military training. Like, she was kind of not born to lead, but her father made sure that she would be a very good commander. And I think she's very glad that she and Alistair aren't butting heads over who should be the one in charge. I don't think there's any harm in asking Morrigan about what she thinks. What do you think we should do, Morrigan?
Go after your enemy directly. Find this man Loghain and kill him. The rest of this business with the treaties can then be done in safety.
Yes, he certainly wouldn't see that coming, and it's not like he has the advantage of an army and experience and...
I was asked for my opinion and I gave it. If your wish is to come up with reasons why something cannot be done, we will stand here until the Darkspawn are upon us.
Okay. Then we need to find these people.
I can give you directions, if you like.
I don't need any more directions. Where do we find Arleman? Where will we find the Dalish Elves? I've been exiled from Orzammar. I can't go back there. Where do we find the Circle of Magi? Where would Loghain be exactly? Where do we find Arleman?
He'll be at Castle Redcliffe, in the far western part of Ferelden, next to the mountain passes. If he isn't there, someone will be able to tell us where he is.
Where do we find the Circle of Magi?
That will be at their tower on Lake Carlinhard to the north. We'll be looking for the first enchanter, whoever that is.
Where will we find the Dalish Elves?
If we head eastward, towards the Brazilian forest, we should hear word of one of the clans that wanders that area. Hopefully they will still be there.
And where would Loghain be exactly?
If he isn't out in the field with his army, he's probably going to be at the palace in Denerim. We can go to Denerim, but somehow I suspect that they're not going to let us just walk around. Only a suspicion, of course.
Yeah, now for the biggest problem. I've been exiled from Orzammar. I can't go back there.
You're going to have to. I certainly wouldn't want to go there alone.
Why? Would it frighten you? Are you afraid of dark and sunken places?
I mean, we won't have any choice. You'll be there under Grey Warden business, and the dwarves will just have to see reason.
They certainly are renowned for an abundance of reason, 'tis true.
Ooh, Artin would be offended, but she kind of agrees. How do we get to Orzammar from here, exactly?
You don't know where Orzammar is?
She doesn't know how to find it on the surface, fool. She has never been here before.
Thank you, Morrigan.
If you follow the west road around Cullenhard Lake into the mountains through Gerland's Pass, from there I expect you'd know the way.
I don't need any more directions.
Then you have a plan.
I'm ready to get going.
Fair enough. Let's head into the village whenever you're ready.
Okay. We need to find a merchant. We have got so much stuff in our inventory. And a chicken. Hello. It is kind of odd that Artin wouldn't know where Orzammar is.
So let's talk about your mother for a moment.
I'd rather talk about your mother.
Well, there's nothing to talk about. And besides, isn't your mother a scary witch who lives in the middle of a forest? Much more interesting.
To you, perhaps. You would find the moss growing upon a stone interesting.
You know what's more
Damn.
interesting than that? Apostates, mages outside of the tower. That's illegal, you know.
You did not read that in a book somewhere, did you? I hope the small letters did not strain you overmuch.
Oh, we could not talk about your mother. That works for me.
I love the banter between those two, and I've just remembered I have Caddis for you. Where would that be stored? There it is. There you go, buddy. Okay. Yeah, it as I was trying to say, it is a little odd that Artin wouldn't know where Orzammar is, but again, I stand by that. I think she's so used to using her stone sense to get around that I'm not entirely sure she'd be the best with maps.
As you say.
She kind of looks at them and gets a little bit confused, because when navigating the deep roads, she can just be like, and I tap in, and we go this way. I instinctively know where I'm going. Without her stone sense, I don't think she has much of a head for directions. So many refugees. Damn. At least they have the common sense to flee.
You there.
Ooh.
If you're looking for safe shelter, I'll warn you. There's none to be found.
Okay.
Move on if you can. Lothering's lost.
What do you mean? I was looking for some news, actually. Do you know about the bandits just outside the village? I think she'd be curious as to what he means. What do you mean?
We've had refugees streaming from the south for the last 2 days. The Chantry and Tavern are full to bursting. There simply isn't enough food to go around, and we Templars can barely keep order. You'd be better off elsewhere, my friend.
I don't think he's keeping her from going in. I think he's just suggesting maybe don't think you're going to be able to stay here. Thanks for the warning.
Best of luck wherever you might go.
Okay. Yeah, there are an awful lot of refugees. Now, before we head into Lothering proper, I am just about out of time for this episode. So let's get into a nice position. There we go, that's a bit better. With Thorin staring off into the sunset. Very nice. So, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.